The man tied up his wife with ropes to seize her fortune worth billions, then abandoned her on a remote island before sailing away on a boat. But the wife didn't panic. She managed to free herself and gathered every useful tool she could find. In fact, she had already sabotaged the boat beforehand. As it sailed away, a rope tied to a rock tightened, and the motorboat shattered into pieces with a single pull. But the husband didn't die. The wife, once an archer, had crafted a simple bow and arrows from branches and vines, preparing a deadly surprise for her husband. Meanwhile, the man swam and eventually reached the shore, then began searching for his wife. He entered a cave and suddenly heard strange noises. When he turned around, he saw a group of tribesmen. Curious, he noticed skulls hanging above and realized they were cannibals. Terrified, he ran into the forest and soon spotted his wife. Before he could say anything, an arrow struck the tree beside him. His wife had returned with her bow, ready to shoot again. He quickly hid behind a tree. At that moment, his wife leapt onto a rock, prepared to unleash her final strike. But the man grabbed a stick from the ground and blocked her attack, narrowly escaping death. By the time his wife reached the spot, he had already run deep into the forest. The next day, the man secretly followed his wife, planning to strike her head with a stick. But as he bent down to attack, a trap was triggered, leaving him hanging upside down. His screams woke his wife. At the same time, approaching footsteps echoed nearby. He threw the stick aside and ran. Looking up, he saw cannibals rushing toward him. Panicking, he struggled, grabbed a vine, and managed to escape. Meanwhile, his wife was also fleeing from the cannibals, but she accidentally stumbled into their hideout. Just as she was about to be surrounded, a large hand reached out from the cave and pulled her inside. It was her husband. At that moment, their grudges ended and they decided to escape together. But before they could get far, their bodies were poisoned by toxins used by the cannibals. However, the cannibal chief did not intend to eat them. Instead, the wife was tied to a post as a sacrifice to the god of fire, while the husband was placed in a boat as an offering to the god of water. Soon, the boat drifted toward a waterfall. The man used all his strength to grab onto a rock and save himself. Then, he disguised himself as a cannibal, sneaked into their camp, and waited for the right moment to strike down the chief. He kicked dirt onto the flames around the post, extinguishing them, then freed his wife. Together, they fled and leapt off a cliff into the water below. The man carried his wife to the shore, where they found a boat and finally escaped the remote island.